Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today, I'm looking at Love and Rockets. This is Volume 4. This is Issue 12 by Gilbert and Jamie Hernandez. I showcased Issue 1 of Love and Rockets, I forget, maybe about a year ago. It comes out sporadically. I want to say every other month, but that's not the truth. It comes out when it comes out by Fantagraphic Comics. Here's the back cover. And this is a bizarre comic. Okay, this is by Jamie Hernandez. He does what's famously known as the Locos. It's about like these girls in Hoppers, which is like a fictional town in Southern California, and then Gilbert does this. They're all like descendant of the three sisters, Petra, Fritzi, and Luba, and this it started in like a fictional town in Mexico, and then they moved into the United States. I think at like California and Texas, and it's like two different worlds. You know, Gilbert's got his stories, Jamie's got his stories, and people say that Jamie draws better, and Gilbert tells better stories. I beg to differ. I think they're both great and different, and both great. I gravitate towards Gilbert's stories more. I don't know why. I love the magical realism. I just love like the generational tales. But I love them both. I really do. It's like picking your favorite children. And here you go. All right, it's really bizarre and warned it's not safe for work. Okay, so this is the cover. This is the alternate cover. I never get. I gave up. I only get the regular cover of any comic. Let's look at the indicia. This is Volume 4, Number 12, and this just came out. What is the date of this? 2020. Notice it doesn't tell you a month. It doesn't tell you when it comes out. It comes out when it comes out. Okay, so this is Beto is a this is his world, and the main character is Fritzy, and they're like three. Like I said, there's three sisters. There's Luba, Fritzy, and Petra, and it's like all of their children and grandchildren and family members. I think there's something like 54 characters just in the. Why can't I remember the name of the town that they're all from? Fritzy's daughter Rosie, and her childhood friend Scoot. Now, they all had like millions of kids with different guys, and you need like a Lord of the Rings genealogy to see who's who and stuff. And I used to be meticulous about like keeping track of who these characters are, what their stories are, and like how old they are, who knows who. And it's impossible. I don't even know if Gilbert keeps that much track. And then I just gave up, and I just enjoy the story for the way it is. Okay, I'm hoping this is in focus because my eyes are good. All right, so more mind spurs. So one of the things is Fritz is a famous actress. She's like a famous B actress, and she did movies all over the world. She has like cult followings, you know, and like I consider her like I'd love her like say Barbara Boucher or something like that. She never really made it big, but she's wealthy. She's like a phenomenal businesswoman, and she's got like I know it's in black and white, but she's supposed to have this like beautiful like alabaster skin, and she has this like high pitched, beautiful like almost like bird like voice with lisp, and men and women just find her irresistible, and she was my favorite character for a while. But that's the thing about Gilbert is he brings out other characters that you just love, and like you kind of forget. Then I went to Petra as my favorite character, and then Petra's daughter, and then I just keep going back and forth to different characters. Okay, he kind of dropped a lot of them, and it's focusing on Petra and Fritzy's just main kids. It was Luba's children for the longest time. Okay, so and it's all filled with characters. So this is what's her name? The singer. But she's like a hit wonder, and she lost her voice, and she's being coached. And this is a Peaky, and Peaky's just one of these easiest characters that inhabit the Hernandez brothers world. She's like super muscular, freakish muscular, and she does like Instagram videos to teach Jesus his love, you know. And she's a real sweet lady, and they goofed like, oh, let's look at that freaky lady, and they kind of just went over to goof on her, and then next thing you know, she was so sweet that they became friends with her. And then his So they found one of her old movies, like it was like a TV show that didn't make it too far, and then like, can we just watch it? So now, boom, we're inside. This is inside, and here's Fritz walking. The three sisters have gigantic boobs, and you can't talk about Love and Rockets without talking about that. Like, is this just like a fetish? Is it weird? And they address it, and then some of the characters, like some of the daughters, they look normal. They look normal, like no, and then all of a sudden, boom, they got gigantic boobs too. I don't know. That turns people off. Like it makes it to me. It makes people think like, oh, this is just like a fetish comic, but it's more than that. You know, yeah, it's freakishly large boobs, but like, what do you want me to say? I enjoy. I love the weird magical realism, the freakish scenarios. I don't know. It's just charming is the only way to describe it. So who knows what's going on? Like they kind of he just kind of throws you in. But apparently they're all scientists. This guy's like upset because he didn't get the promotion and he feels he should get it. She's just like some administrator. And what happened to it? They captured an alien and they tortured the alien to study it, and the alien broke out and is going to kill everybody. There you go. That's the story. And it's just them discussing what should we do? Should we kill everybody? Should we let everybody go? Keep in mind, this is a movie. This is Fritzy. This is the character that she's playing. And, we should go home with our family. Don't go home with the family. Who cares? Family. It's a movie within a non-organic. So, all their clothes, all that. I find it funny that they're covering up her boobs. They don't cover up down here. So here. And then, and she's very like a lot fair about nudity and stuff. Matter of fact, her current job, she always has these different businesses and movies and whatever. They're making like porn in her shed. It's like I said, Love and Rockets has gotten really weird lately. At least the Gilbert Hernandez ones. And now this is Petra, Fritz's sister. She's an competitive bodybuilder, and she is different than the other two sisters because she had a breast reduction, so she's like normal. But her daughters are developing. Okay, that's her estranged daughter. She's fighting with Petra and she's living with Fritz. And then she's talking about this is Fritzy when she was younger. She was a psychiatrist. When she was younger. She's supposed to be brilliant. She's a brilliant. You can almost claim that she's like a Mary Sue, but a Mary Sue be written as well, and have as many flaws as Fritz as job. Everybody knows a Fritzy in their life. I'm just laughing at some of the Fritzies that I've met, but anyway, so now whenever there's a black, the indicated you see thicker borders indicated flashback. So now she's exercising to develop her lung muscles to get her voice back and blah 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 blah, and then it just ends. So then we go over to Jamie. This is Jamie Animus. Now Jamie, he has this like pseudo superhero, pseudo science, like it's definitely science fiction. That's pseudo science fiction, but story that's going on in the comic. And I don't know, is this real? Is this just a story? Does this interact with the real world? Doesn't matter. Who cares? Matter. And she's trying to get back to her world. She's accompanied by this alien who looks like this freak. They find a hand. Can you notice that Jamie's drawing is just like a little bit more crisp. The lines are a little bit more delineated. I like I said, I like Jamie's artwork better, but I like Gilbert's stories better. But I think you'll see when we get to the other story. I love Jamie's stories too. So when I'm saying I like better, I'm talking about two geniuses, and I'm picking one genius slightly more than the other genius. But I love them both. And then they just walk. She finds all her other humans to live, and he's like, you can't go. The humans, they don't like aliens. They'll kill you, and that's exactly what they do. They just beat him to death, and they blame him for the troubles. She makes her way home, and what's going on? Everybody's going crazy. Everybody's going crazy. And then they'll probably continue the story in the next issue. Japan, I figure what's going on here. Sometimes so she's going on tour in Japan. She's trying to sing, but she can't sing. She's meeting her fans, and now you see, it's a lot of Jamie is cutting back and forth, and that was all like a flashback. And now she's talking about it, how she lost her voice and freaked out, and they complained about Fritzy because if you're Fritzy's daughter, you're kind of embarrassed by her mom making dirty movies and starring in dirty movies and walking around like seducing everybody. So, but everybody's like, oh no, I like your mom, and he's like, oh, you like your mom. She hires this boy to do hand close-ups, and this is like her butler, and she's kind of like taking advantage of the poor guy's afraid to be fired, so he's doing hand close-ups on her body, and he's all shy and freaked out. Okay, now we're going to the wedding. This is Jamie. This is part of the Locust stories. This is what like really made him famous. Maggie and Hopi, and then what I like about them is they're aging in real time. So when I talk about characters come and go and new characters show up, this is well, she's not on this page, but here she is, Tanta, and she's like my new favorite character. So something about her I just like. She's a little homely. She's sweet. She's ready to fight. She's feisty. She's a tomboy, and here she is in a wedding dress, and she's uncomfortable. So her sister is getting married, and they're all just like arguing and weddings. Everybody's drinking and fighting, and this girl's pissed off because why am I not a bridesmaid? And Tanta's a bridesmaid. And nobody even likes Tanta. And everybody's mean to Tanta, and I think that's kind of why I like her. She's just like, she has a heart of gold, and she's sensitive, and people pick on her, but she fights back. And this is the sister. This is Vivian, and Vivian is beautiful, but she is just mean and wants to fight. She takes everything the wrong way. We all know Vivian's, and I'm picturing the girl from college that was my Vivian. Oh my God, what that girl was just trouble. And I remember when she walked up to me, not even joking, I saw a big red light behind her head, just floating, hallucinating in the sky, and I still dated her because I'm stupid, and she was hot, and I'm a red-blooded man. So you put up with nonsense when the girl's gorgeous. But anyway, so she's marrying this guy, okay, and everybody's like, look at her, you're never going to see her again. We're finally rid of Vivian. They call her Frog Mouth. She's always ready to fight. She's just mean. She's just a mean-spirited person, and she's just marrying this guy because he's rich. And then people are like congratulating her. She's giving her the finger, and next thing you know, they're fighting in the background because she's fighting at her own wedding. Did they show it on this page? I don't think so. But yeah, here's the shoes are off, and she's just fighting with her own guest. Now this is Maggie. Maggie was originally the star of Locust, and she was just like this super cute, real cool girl into punk rock and everything. I love Maggie, and now she aged in real time. And Jamie caught crap for putting weight on her because he made his character as real as possible. This is Ray. This is her live-in boyfriend. They're not married yet, but they've been together for years at this point. And Maggie, Tanta likes Maggie and she likes Ray. They're nice to her. She started off like stealing Maggie's stuff. Maggie forgave her about it, and then they got along. It's just a real slice of life story. It's like this Locust story. There's no laser beams. There's no craziness like that. But there is at the same time. There is some magical realism. I really do like it. And so Tantas is she goes outside. She likes this boy, and this is his girlfriend, and she's smuggling them out beers, and poor girl can't get your break. She's like, oh yeah, he's taking advantage. Bring me out beers. Bring some out for my girlfriend. And she's like, she likes him. So she's like, why am I doing this? What am I fault? And I like Tanta. I just think she's sweet. She likes the boy, so she wants to do nice things. And then she's like, she knows she's being taken advantage of, but she has like no self-esteem. She's like, I'm kind of homely, so this is the only way to get boys. So now everyone's like, come watch, Vivian and Violet are having a toe-to-toe. They're fighting. And she's like, I don't care. And she's all embarrassed. So she's talking to one of her friends, one of Vivian's friends. And now this is Ray and Ray's brothers. So Ray is invited to the wedding because Ray's brother married Vivian. And Ray's brothers are all sitting around talking. And Ray, I like that. He's getting older. His hair is gray. You saw him since he was a teenager. Geez, the comic's been coming out since like the early 80s. So 40 years. So you see him getting older and older and older. I really do like that. And they're like, this brother's like, hey, you guys all made fun of me. I was the nerd brother. Look at this hot piece of ass that I married. He's like, I remember when she was dating Ray, and I saw her coming out of the pool. I couldn't get her out of my mind. And they're like, Ray dated her? Ray keeps everything close to the vest. He doesn't tell everything. So they're just like, that's how you met? You're marrying Ray's ex-girlfriend? And he's just like, I'm out of here. Like, he doesn't like to reveal himself, so he's going out and hiding. And there's Maggie, the girl he's with, and he goes out to smoke. No big deal. And this is Hopi shows up. Why is that a big deal? Because Hopi and Maggie were the original star of the comic, and they were a couple. She was in love with Maggie, and Maggie was kind of oblivious. Are they going to get together? Are they not going to get together? And then like Maggie liked another guy. She liked Ray. She didn't like Ray. So it just was torn her apart. So she was like mean, and they had like a very public breakup. So she doesn't want to see Maggie because, she still has feelings, and she's with another girl. The other girl will get jealous. It's complicated. So he's like, I'm dropping off a present, leave. And, I like what she says. I haven't received any late night messages, so everything's cool. He's like, we're fine. And she says, good, because I'd hate to see you F up your relationship with the best partner you'll ever have. So she's still standing up for Maggie, and I like that. I like loyal friends. He's like, nobility and sacrifice. And Ray's a good guy, too. So she goes off with them, and Tanta is all excited because she likes them, and she's like, now we're related. I'm your sister-in-law's sister. There should be a name for that. And he's like, yep. She's just sweet. She's sweet. She wants to be liked. I really, really like this character. And she's sensitive. So, and like most sensitive people, when she gets hurt, she explodes and goes nuts and starts fights. And this is gross, but what I like about it is I can see it happen. So she snuck out beers by putting them in her underwear. And he's like, she's like, hi, Tanta, and she's crying. And she's like, well, what's wrong? Where's Moses? He left. We had a huge fight. About what? He kept smelling his bottle. Gross, but what do you want me to say? The beer bottle you smuggled out in your chonies. I guess that's underwear. But what did you do? I know I had to hide them either. No, I mean, how did you get him to like you? I try everything to make him happy, but it's always Tanta this, Tanta that, Tanta. She's like, I can't deal. So now she's like, Judy Fair, am I a total kid? So now what I like about Tanta is she feels bad for her, who she was mad at and jealous of. She's hurt, so she feels bad for her, but at the same time, she's like so flattered. I just really like the characterization. So now Maggie, she's getting the courage to go over to talk to Vivian and congratulate her. Why is that a big deal? Because they fight. Vivian fights with everybody. She's totally beautiful, and she's totally a bitch. And she's just going to ruin this poor bald guy's life, but because he's obsessed with her. So then she goes up to her, she gets her courage up, and she goes, jealousy is disease. Get well soon. And she's like, grovel, and then she goes back, and then this I really liked. I really like this. Does that bother you? That's an well, it's easy to fix. I can't marry you now. You'd be related to Velvet Foghorn. That's what they call Vivian, Velvet Foghorn. He goes, very, very mean, I miss Mitsu, whatever. And they're just watching her. And look, she doesn't put her arm around him. Just the body language there is just perfect. Such a master storyteller. And he goes, we really wouldn't have to change anything. Our life would still be pretty much the same. Sure. Because Maggie Dominguez, you wouldn't have to change your name either, Miss Chaz Caracol. I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry. You could at least get people to pronounce your last name. Then I'd be honored, Miss Dominguez. I think we made a good decision. I think it's a good decision for everybody. And now, she always had a thing for Ray. Ray broke up with her because she was crazy. And now, she's marrying Ray's brother. And look at that face. It sends shivers up my spine. It's worse than the Red Skull attacking Captain America. So anyway, I really like Love and Rockets. It's not everybody's cup of tea. I understand that. I discovered this at the right time, back in my beatnik, pot smoking hippie days. That was never a hippie. Let me clarify. I was a beatnik. There's a difference. So, in the 80s, I was punk rock, and then after punk rock, I think all the punk rockers from the 80s, like myself, I had the mohawk and everything, the leather jacket, and the Converse All-Stars. And then I moved to Albuquerque. I read all these beat poets, and I got into like Jack Kerouac. I did experiment with smoking marijuana for like a year or two. Didn't really like it. It started to, just like drinking. I don't even get high. I go right to the headache. I go right to headache, right to hangover whenever I drink. So I gave that stuff up when I was 25. But I still like this strange I read a lot. Like my favorite book of all time is 100 Years of Solitude. I love that magical realism, and to me, this is like a magical realism comic. It's I can understand if you don't like it. I'm not going to argue with you. My sister-in-law, I used to give her copies, and she loved it, loved it, loved it until she didn't love it anymore. You know, and I think if you do like Love and Rockets, get the Heartbreak Soup story, and just get that collected edition. It takes all the little Gilbert stories and puts them together into one cohesive story, and it's wonderful. It's just wonderful. They're both great storytellers. I think Gilbert has this like grand story about this family of like 54 characters, interacting, going back in time. Just craziness. Sometimes you have no idea what the hell's going on, but it's just like you just ride that wave. And then Jamie, to me, has more personal stories. It's Maggie and her friends. Yes, sometimes craziness happens. Sometimes there's one character who just wants to be a superhero. There's another character who's growing horns. But it's like very personal. It's an exploration of friendships and relationships and I don't need it. Like it's almost. I was going to say something that I realized I was wrong. I was going to say like nothing happens, but a lot does happen, and it's very soulful and very very heartfelt, and I recommend it. And if you do buy it and you don't like it, I can understand that. A lot of people don't. I happen to be one of those people. I got every issue of Love and Rockets. Anytime I see anything with Gilbert Hernandez or Jamie Hernandez, I pick it up. I've been a fan of theirs since before I knew I was a fan of theirs, because I picked up Mr. X from Vortex Comics. That's something. It's in my stack of comics to showcase. And the Hernandez brothers did. And I remember I used to go to White Castle at like 4 o'clock in the morning, get some food and read comics. This was before I was even punk rock. This was like high school. And I took my older friend Phil. He was one of my friend's older brothers. Me and him went to Love and Rockets, and I was showing him my comics, and he freaked out over Mr. X. He got, he knew about the Hernandez brothers and Mr. X comics, and he was amazed that I had it because I was all superheroes and everything. And he was just like, "Watch these guys; they're going to be big." And then I heard that Vortex had money troubles, didn't pay them for the comics, and then they quit. And that kind of ruined Mr. X, because this beautiful art style just went away, and they got other artists that weren't as good, if you ask me. Killed the comics, and then they did Love and Rockets. So I was a fan of the Hernandez brothers. How I just realized how pretentious that sounds. Forgive me, everybody. I was just telling the story. But anyway, Love and Rockets, White Castle, me being young. It's just, I have a lot of emotion invested into this comic, and I really do enjoy it. It's not safe for work, and even though they, like, for 30 years ago, they had like trans characters and bizarre lesbians and space aliens or whatever, but it's not woke. Why? Because they're good characters. They're well written. There's story to them. There's a purpose to everything. You may not get that purpose, but you'll figure it out like later on further readings. They're really good. And I kind of broke one of my policies that I showcase all. This is brand new. I think it's like 2 months old, and I showcased it. But they're already established. These guys are made money, so I don't care. And maybe I'll interest you into it. But like if I got like a new comic by like somebody brand new, I'm not going to show off the whole comic because I want you to go and buy their comic. But I don't know. Call me. I don't know. I break my rules all the time. I make rules and then I break them. I'm a rebel, Dottie. I'm a rebel, Dottie. All right, so there you go. I'm rambling, so it's time to stop. Love and Rockets by Gilbert and Jamie Hernandez. Just I really like it. And because I'm so professional, I meant to show this. So you can buy this. Okay, it's an 8-volume limited edition hardcover box set. It's got all 50 issues of the original series, because and they're really good about collecting their stuff. So you could get them on collections. To get the individual issues, you're going to be paying a pretty penny for the original series. And then they went to comic size, and then they stopped, and then they did side comics about characters. It's really tough to collect all their stuff. I would just buy the collected editions. But for me, I got to buy the original comics because I'm a weirdo. All right, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks a lot for watching my video. Bye-bye.